Okay, welcome back. Sorry about the last interruption. This is a continuation of the previous drawing that I just started. If you're missing that video, there is a video associated with the starting of this drawing. You should be watching that first. Okay, first things we need to do is understand what we're looking at. As this is the front, that's the top, here's the side, here's the isometric. Let's select this view and choose shaded with edges. So we select it. Drop this down, shaded with edges. Okay, looking at this part, we have the distance to the center of a circle that we could annotate. We have to think about the way we created it. What numbers did we need to make this part? Those are pretty much the numbers we need to call out. So if you've just created this part, those measurements should be fresh in your mind. We also have some hidden geometry here, so we're going to select this first view and turn on hidden with viewing with hidden lines visible. We're going to do the same with this view, which shows the holes. Right, if I were to zoom in so you can kind of see this happening, there's holes through the sides, and this is without, and this is with. Since we can't see them, they're shown as dotted lines, and those are hidden lines. Okay, we're going to turn on hidden lines here because we have holes that are through these pieces and through this piece here. Select it, hidden lines, and now obviously it's kind of confusing here because we have a number of circles that are lined up. We have two lines, this line and this line mark the edges of this circle. The outside here to here marks this circle. The smallest here to here indicates this circle here. And these lines here indicate the cut or the circle. Okay? Alright, but now we have things that we can call on and pull out dimensions. So first thing we're going to do is do our 3.5 inch call out from the back edge of the part to the circle. So click the circle and then click down. There's our 3.5 inch. So we're going to specify width dimensions here, height dimensions here, how tall the part is, and then depth dimensions here. I try not to mix up the heights, the widths, and the depths to try to keep it easier for people to read. So we're going to mark from the bottom of the part to the center of the circle. We're going to shoot it over to the right. That's at 1.37. We're going to make this 3 decimal places. This is something we've not done before, but I believe this is a product of it being rounded. So we're going to select this, go over to here, we're going to select 3 decimal places. Okay. This is not a result of rounding. Prior to that, it could have been. That you see the zeros there, this is not necessary, but the fact is, I'm going to actually ask that you hold all of the dimensions in this lesson to be 3 dimensions, just as a demonstration that you know how to modify it when it's necessary. Okay, so we have that. Let's call out the radial dimension here. So adding 0.75 to this existing number will give us our total height, whoever needs to know that. These two numbers don't need to be added and then explained from here to here. You wouldn't need to show that. That's completely unnecessary. I'm going to press delete and get rid of it. Okay. In addition to, let's call out this circle. It's looking kind of sloppy. I don't like either of these. So just for the sake of it, don't use the rapid dimensioning, and let's just put these off for now. If your drafting standard is showing the numbers where the line is such and then the numbers or letters or following in a slope with that line. We are in what they call ISO drafting standards on an ANSI piece of paper. So our paper doesn't match the standard. So we did this before. We're going to go to Tools, Options, Document Properties, change this to ANSI. If it was already ANSI last time when you went to go look, you don't need to change it. If your numbers are horizontally reading and not on an angle, you're already correct. You don't need to do that step. So at this point, now it just kind of visually looks a lot better. Okay? I like this drafting standard better, and a lot of people do. All right. So we have the circle on the outside. So I could double this to get the diameter. I have the inside. I don't have this radius. That might be worth showing. I'm debating if I want to pull that out yet. See how crowded it gets. I might as well and add it later if it's a problem. See what rapid dimensioning is doing now? It's causing a conflict here. So once again, ignore rapid dimensioning. We'll probably move these around later. Let's just get them out. Okay, this is a big issue. I don't want them crossing each other. So I'd probably have to move this one down. Or think of another location to put it. I can't think of a better spot though, so let's just move on. We have all of the dimensions that are pretty much associated with height, with the exception of here to here. Once again, this is not a good spot to put it. This is probably better. It's not overlapping the title block. It's a little tight. However, it's better because it's not overlapping. So I like that better. Okay. So we have all of our height dimensions are pretty much taken care of on this what we would think is the side, but the way we drew it, the front profile of this part. Most of these parts really don't have a defined front, top, or side, so it's typically how you throw it down on the table and interpret the front. Okay. So let's focus on the width measurements up at the top. So we have our 3.5. We need to specify some diameters, so let's do that, because that's added to get the full width. Do this guy too. I like that. Even though this matches this, it could go uncalled. However, that should not be also 0.46. We're going to have to check our model. This is a good example of maybe we didn't smart dimension this. That should not be reading 0.46. But we can't modify that here in the drawing. We need to go to the actual model that is causing the drawing to occur. That's where the problem lies. So if this number were correct, this is where we would want it. So leave it there, and we'll go change the model, update, and this will be a good example of how we fix these problems. I'm looking at this now and deciding, okay, I know how wide this is because it's 1.5 because the radius is at tangent to the edges. Right, diameter 1.5, radius 0.75. So all the widths are taken care of. All right here. All the heights are taken care of here. And now we have the depths. How thick are these plates? For the most part is kind of where we're at. I know this is centered and in line with this. I don't need to really give a dimension from this position, and then from here to here. It is in line with this. We may want to show that, and we may mix and put a depth dimension here, just one, but most of them are going to be here. Okay. We don't need to tell anyone how wide this entire part is, because we have the diameter. It's already called out. So that's done. Same thing with this circle. Same thing with this circle. So all these hidden lines really aren't going to be used. Same thing for these circles here. The center position for this circle and that arc is already called out. So for the most part, it's just the top 3 dimensions. This one, and here, here. That one. Just looking at the drawing and making sure there's nothing that I'm missing. I'm thinking to myself, what else would I need to know to create this? Is there anything here that I used that I didn't call out? And the only thing that's like too slight debate would be the center of this. Let's just take a look at what this looks like. Here to here. Now I'm getting an angle. I don't want an angle. I click this little plus right here in the middle, and that's where I got that. So I'm going to press escape. That's not what I wanted. I clicked the wrong thing. And a lot of times when you're not zoomed out enough, or zoomed in enough, you select the wrong thing. I want this, not the crosshairs, or the center lines. Here, here, shoot this over. At this point, it's 1 inch over. And we should be pretty good at this point. These need to be extended to 3 decimals. Those are rounded, I believe. Let's switch these over. Go to 370. As I said, I want to switch these all to 3 decimal places, just for the sake of you knowing how to do it. Switch. You might be able to hold shift and select more than one. Let's try this. That's blue. Hold shift. That's blue. Hold shift. Blue. Blue. Okay, those are the remaining. Let's drop this down and switch. A little bit more convenient. This is mess. This is a big mess. Let's drag this here. I don't like how this looks. It's too cramped. So I'm going to pull this out to here. That looks nice. I like this. Lines up. And I like this. Lines up. Bring this down a hair. It's snapping. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, that looks good. And there was one more thing I wanted to do. We have to fix this 0.461 in the model itself. We need to put our name on it, of course. I think we are done. So let's do that. Let's put our name. So we're going to go to Annotation, A, click. Remember, all in uppercase, caps lock on. Your name, say OK. Position it where it needs to be. Okay, there is one more thing. Other than fixing this, there was an issue. I don't like how this arrowhead is on the inside of the radius. We might be able to modify this. So selecting it, over here on the left, there's a leaders tab. Select this, and let's modify. Let's just see what, let's do some investigation. See what happens when we click this. Nothing. Let's try this. There it is. So this will allow you to toggle if you get an arrowhead on the wrong side, or you don't like the way it looks, or it looks kind of confusing, like this, crossing over geometry, it's sloppy. You try to avoid this as all cases. Click on the number, go to leaders, click the second option in on the inside, meaning the inside of the arc rather than the outside. Right? This is the outside. This is the inside. Okay. So now we fix this. Let's save. Should be called Actuator Base. It's the same name as the file that is the model, except the extension's different. Make sure it's in your G drive. Let's open up the model. So leave this open. This 0.461 needs to be fixed. So let's just do, open up your Actuator Base model. This hole seems to be off. There it is. Let's open it up. Click on the icon of the sketch and click the Edit Sketch. And I forgot to dimension the circle. You're going to do that a lot. So let's go back, select this. There's our 0.461. See how it rounded up? We're going to just type in 0.5. Press enter. Hit your blue arrow or purple, traffic light, file, save, and close it. Your drawing, when you click on it, should be updated, and there's your 0.5. If it doesn't, for whatever reason, click the traffic light. Traffic light will update, and Actuator Base is the name of the file, so that's why that's here. Okay, in most practical terms, outside in the real world, there will be a number associated to the drawing and not a word, so it should fit. Unfortunately, ours doesn't. You can't change that, other than choose smaller file names. Do file save as, view this as zoom to fit, and of course, snip this here to here. And at this point, you would save and embed this into the page in your portfolio, and then turn the link to the portfolio into the Google Classroom. Zoom out just a hair so you can get the whole drawing when you snip it. That way you can keep the quadrants labeled. Like this is B2, and so forth. Okay, that concludes this lesson. Thank you for sticking with me.